I don't think we should do this.
Welcome back to Director's Choice. From time immemorial, fiction has never steered completely clear of reality. The concept of art imitating life has never held more truth than in animation shows. And one of the best ever is the regular show.
No!
Following the adventures of Mordecai and his unofficial best friend, Rigby, the regular show accurately displays what it is like to navigate life as a young adult.
Sup, Pops?
Like every social circle where we have the goofy ones who just want to have fun but never take any of the responsibility like Rigby, there is also the responsible friend who goes along for the ride but remains a voice of reason like Mordecai.
Dude.
Oh, you sound like Benson.
Dude, listen. If we pound through this, we'll never have to do this lame chair stuff again.
In this episode of Director's Choice, we are going to be taking a look at one of the most relatable characters in cinematic animation, Mordecai. To break down the facts behind his psychology, how does his friendship with Rigby define his personality? Is there a deeper meaning to his continued lack of clarity in career paths?
No.
Be sure to watch this video to the end for some interesting facts on the impact of Mordecai's love interests on his mental health. Without further ado, let's jump right in. Here is the complete breakdown of Mordecai's psychology. Mordecai grew up as a quirky child and teenager with a lot of awkward moments, but above all else, his kindness shone through. He was always getting into messy situations, especially after becoming friends with Rigby.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
You should have played punchies.
Mordecai had interests in pursuing his education further after graduating high school, but those plans were thwarted by Rigby, unknown to Mordecai. Rigby faked a rejection letter from Mordecai's school of interest to keep him back home. This single event led to a series of misadventures that made up the bulk of Mordecai's life.
Dude, I didn't get in. What the?
Mordecai tries to maintain a job as a groundskeeper at the park while engaging in his multiple interests. He has tried to get a formal college education. He also went to art school for a while, but he couldn't achieve success in either academics or arts. While his failures got him down for a bit, he always found a way out of the murky feelings. Mordecai is not one to hold a grudge, despite the fact that Rigby gets him into a lot of unfortunate situations. He always tries to find a solution, rather than dwell on the problem.
We can't fall apart now. We are going to figure out how to get home, but we have to survive first. All we have to do is make it through one day at a time.
Mordecai's life is very relatable to any young adult. He is caught in the confusing web of having a job he is not particularly interested in, a friend that is more spontaneous than he can keep up with, and several relationships that leave him feeling twisted inside out. At this stage in life, it is easy to make mistakes.
Oh, sorry.
You better be.
In almost every episode, Mordecai finds himself at the beginning, middle, or end of a terrible decision. The lack of an actual parental figure may have attributed to this, as there is no moral anchor other than Mordecai's use of personal discretion.
Aw, my little boy could never be a jerk.
So, his judgment of situations is mostly based on his experiences, and they don't always give the best outcomes.
Looks like you learned the ways of Death Kwon Do.
Looks like you know how to say things that people are already aware of.
When you put this under the same light as the fact that his optimism is almost never-ending, it may seem that Mordecai has some uncompleted psychosocial development. Nevertheless, Mordecai is more grounded than Rigby and is capable of making better decisions. Mordecai has excellent people qualities, and his natural energy helps him to command attention, as people are more receptive to listening and agreeing with him in most cases.
Dude, Benson would have snapped his crank if we just up and left work. You gotta be responsible sometimes.
For most of the show, Mordecai has a job at the park as one of the groundskeepers. Although he faces the threat of getting fired several times, Mordecai can be a hard-working employee when he sets his mind to the task at hand. He is capable of encouraging Rigby and the others to focus whenever they are losing grip of the situation.
Don't worry, dude. We just gotta fight it with coffee.
While Mordecai typically enjoys the time spent slacking off with Rigby, he also tries to make up for it to their boss, Benson. Despite the fact that Rigby is the one who causes a lot of their unfortunate adventures, Mordecai almost always comes up with the solution to get them out of trouble. His leadership skills are not very pronounced in his roles, but he takes on more responsibility than the other members of his social circle.
Dude, we're 23 years old. We shouldn't be busting holes in walls. We're gonna get fired for this.
This habit of taking responsibility for other people may be an indicating sign of Mordecai overcompensating for something else. Mordecai may feel the lack of an actual family or intimate bond with someone who isn't one of his friends or co-workers more than he reveals. And to avoid having a bigger hole in his life, Mordecai may be doing more than necessary to keep his friends happy, making him very laid back.
Rigby?
Whoa.
Cool.
Nonetheless, it can't be denied that Mordecai has excellent communication skills. When he gets into a difficult situation with his love interests, he can manage to calm them down, though he sometimes gets caught in his explanations.
We only have one chance at not getting fired.
Okay, I'll go get the shovel.
No, dude. We have to take him back to his place and put him in bed and hope he doesn't remember that any of this happened.
Mordecai's ability to communicate makes him an excellent liar, which is not admirable, but can definitely come in handy. His communication skills also enable Mordecai to be truthful and reliable.
Oh, hey, Benson. We were just getting back to work.
It's okay, Mordecai. I trust you.
To his friends, Mordecai is a beaming light of positive energy, despite the struggles he faces with work and his failed relationships which make him depressed. Mordecai is still able to be there whenever anyone needs him.
You're right. Party bus!
When the people in his circle are struggling, Mordecai becomes the strength they need, but most times he has to wallow in his sadness. Mordecai doesn't let this get to him though, as he constantly recovers from his downtimes and continues to be kind-hearted to everyone. His optimism may be a coping mechanism for the struggles he faces, but Mordecai hardly ever shows his vulnerability, choosing instead to be there for others.
This is horrible.
No, it's not. You're just in a bad mood. Look, you just need to take your mind off it for a while and have some fun.
It can be said without mincing words that Mordecai is a great friend. He is the type of friend that everyone wants in their corner. Mordecai hardly judges Rigby's immaturity, and he always tries to match his friend's energy and interests as much as he can.
What about mustache cash stash?
That's it. That's it.
Order the shirts! Order the shirts!
Although Rigby constantly gets them in dangerous situations, Mordecai rarely gets angry at him. And even when he does, he is quick to reconcile. Mordecai and Rigby have been friends since kindergarten, and they have been through the best and worst moments together.
It's looking at us.
It sometimes seems like Mordecai gets the short end of the straw. There is a form of codependency between Rigby and Mordecai as they complement each other's personalities. The dynamics of their friendship usually revolve around Rigby getting them into an impossible situation and Mordecai finding the solution to get them out. While they may not be completely healthy, it works for them.
Huh? I knew you cheated, dude. I was just waiting for you to come clean to teach you a lesson.
Although Rigby has an elder brother, Mordecai still fulfills that role in their friendship. Mordecai constantly looks out for Rigby, especially when his friend's ideas edge towards the more risky and dangerous options.
Dude, you gotta stop pulling stuff out of the trash. It's unnatural.
He tries to shield him from hurt, and although his friend shoves him under the bus a few times, Mordecai never pays back in the negative.
We'll follow this guy to a road, hitch a ride to the city, hop on a plane, and boom! Back at work, baby!
I hope so. I just wish we didn't have to stare at this guy's aboriginal butt the whole way.
Mordecai has a big heart, and he forgives easily. Mordecai is very sociable with the other members of their unofficial crew, and this also transcends into his intimate relationships.
Dude, is it just me or does being appreciated blow?
Yeah, man. It's not worth it.
Like any young adult, Mordecai has a string of relationships and love interests. Mordecai has a major crush on Margaret, a waitress at the coffee shop he frequents, for most of the show. They start as good friends, although Mordecai has rather obvious feelings for Margaret.
Why are you using your solids to ruin my date with Margaret?
When Margaret starts hinting at liking him back, Mordecai withdraws. This fear validates the point that Mordecai is more dependent on his friendships than he appears to be, to the point of relying on them.
Oh, hey, Margaret. I was wondering, would you, like to,
When Mordecai finally asks her out, and Margaret informs him that she has to leave for school, he is depressed. While feeling the loss of Margaret's absence, he meets CJ, and they hit it off.
I got my wish.
What, that you can run faster than me?
No, for a cute girlfriend that likes...
And from then on, Mordecai gets into a sort of love triangle with CJ and Margaret. When Margaret comes back to town, his relationship with CJ comes to an end, and he remains friends with Margaret. In both of these relationships, Mordecai tried his best to be honest, and he made sure to pay for whatever mistakes he committed. At the end of the show, it is revealed that Mordecai ends up married to Steph, a fellow artist, and they have 3 children together. Mordecai got his life together and a path in his passion as a career which led to a happy life.
You may be me, but that's not the me I want to be.
Me neither.
Mordecai has an easygoing personality that gets him into the best and worst situations. For the most part, he has only one goal: to be happy and make others happy. Despite the contradictions, he constantly does his best to satisfy both his best friend Rigby and his boss, Benson. This self-imposed responsibility wears him out, but he tries to hide it under a goofy personality.
What did you do?
I don't know!
This doesn't make any sense.
No!
We all know someone like Mordecai, someone who ends up in the worst situations despite their best intentions. And they always find a way out. Although some of the adventures are tiring and sometimes push them to their limits, having a friend like Rigby might just be what is needed to help them maintain balance in their lives.
Rigby! No, that's not what I meant! That's not what I meant! Go back!
If your personality matches Mordecai, remember to let other people be there for you. And if you have someone like Mordecai in your circle, be there for them. The essence of friendship is to have a support system for good, bad, and ugly moments. Mordecai may not have everything he needs in life, as far as material items go, but he knows that his friends will always be there for him, and that's what makes life worth living. That's all for today. Thank you for joining us on the breakdown of Mordecai's psychology. Take a look at this other recent clip by Director's Choice, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified with our latest videos.
What was that? Whoa! Dude, what's happening?
I don't know!